justice for all.
Thank you. Could I please have a roll call?
Yes. Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Shai?
Present.
Councilmember Lau?
Here.
Councilmember Gunderson?
Here.
Councilmember Cooper?
Here. All present. Next we'll move into the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Councilmember Shai?
Yes.
Councilmember Lau?
Here.
Councilmember Gunderson?
Yeah.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes. So see, you're not really here, okay?
Approval of the agenda 5-0 as presented. Next, move into public comment. Anybody wishing to comment on any agenda items, please step to the podium and name and address for the record, if you would, please. Having no public comment, we'll close public comment. Next, move into the consent agenda. We have 12 items. Can I have a motion and a second on this? Bring it to the floor.
Slow.
Support. I thought you said slow.
Is there any separation?
Yes, could I have item A and H, please? Move to, I guess, it's a
New
new business.
business.
What was your first one?
A.
A.
And
Sorry, I got a cold. I'm trying to enunciate a little bit. Is that-
Is there any other separation? That would take us down to 10 items on the consent agenda. Can I call for the vote, please?
Councilmember Lau?
Yes.
Councilmember Gunderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Shai?
Yes.
Thank you.
Consent agenda passed 5-0. Next, we'll move into the council liaison reports. Tom, start with you.
Planning Commission regular meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, and then that we tentatively have a special meeting planned for November 2nd, I think it is, on Monday, before council meeting to handle the Vietnam Memorial request.
Thank you. Mike?
Housing Commission has not had a meeting since the last meeting we had. I thought it was supposed to be this Thursday, but I'm not so sure it is because I haven't got anything from Sharon yet. And there was talk about changing it because of something. I don't remember what it was now. I think maybe she was going to be gone or something. I can't remember. So I have nothing to report. Just wanted to do that, didn't I?
Jerry?
Nothing to report.
Yes.
The rec board meeting was productive. The bulk of the discussion was about the fee schedule and some other issues. I think they discussed the location for the dog park and some other things, and hopefully they can get that hammered out. That's about it.
Library report. They have done 3 interviews for the head librarian position. They're moving forward on that. I need to get a date here. I didn't write it down. They're having an open house for Betty, which would be 40 years. Brady. Yes, Brady. I believe it's from 2 to 4. So if you can go to the library and wish Betty well, that would be great. Other than that, I have nothing. Next, we'll move into new business. Item A, which is the checks from Independent Bank for the amount of $115,306.04. The motion and support to bring this to the floor.
So moved.
Support.
Also shows chemical bank checks there too.
Oh, excuse me, yeah. Chemical banks. Thank you, Mike. Discussion, Dennis.
The reason I wanted to bring this new business, and you know, and you probably read my email, I don't know if you've read my initial email, but we had a check in there for nearly $1,100 for service. from G&G Electric. So I asked if we call the two businesses that were in town, and one I'm not gonna get into right now. He wants to discuss that. He was a little upset with the city's position. And then the other one, didn't get an opportunity to, service, and he's a master electrician right around the corner from our, Parts Plus, emergency service, the whole 9 yards. So, I hope we can get that straightened out, and start.
Is he gonna call me?
I don't know if he will, I can get a hold of him.
Yeah.
I run into him several times a week. So I hope we can get that straightened out, but I guess I put it on that agenda because I can't support that. So I know it's gonna pass, but I can't support, not using my local businesses, so. And there's others, I mean, that's one I picked out, but there's among others, in there, so.
Tom, any questions?
No.
Mike?
No, but I understand where he's coming from on it. Unfortunately, it went the way it did. At least have to have an opportunity to try to get the work.
And
I'm done.
Jerry?
And Bruce, is there a policy, or I know we have that policy put in place, and is there a history why we didn't go through these people, or through somebody else, or do you know that out there?
There's a history, but I really don't think this is the
Okay.
place to discuss it.
Okay,
I'd like to discuss it with.
Okay. all right.
and then the other ones never got a service call.
Bernie doesn't seem to know him, and I
I'm
have
talking
not.
Ensign Electric,
Oh, Hanson,
Okay.
Ensign,
Hanson, yeah.
right on.
Yeah, they're fairly new to the area.
Yeah. Well, he went to school with my brother Matt.
Is he on, he's
I
on,
graduated with him.
But he wasn't working through. here
He's
in
on
town
44.
Was he?
I think he's been 15 plus years.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Can you make arrangements so they can get a hold of Bruce then?
I can.
Thank you. I have no discussion on this. Can I call for a vote?
Councilmember Gunderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
No.
Councilmember Jones,
Yes.
Councilmember Shai,
Yes.
Councilmember Lau.
Yes,
Item A, which is separated to new business, passed 4-1. Next, we move into item H, which is water service policy report. Get a motion and second to bring this to the floor.
So moved.
Support.
Dennis?
Yeah, the issue I had two issues. Probably the biggest issue was the bottom half of it, with the discretion of Department of Public Works to shut off or discontinue the service.
this here?
No, this part right here,
Oh, this here.
the very bottom, is what it essentially is the final lateral is from basically the shut off the curbside to the house. And is what that is saying essentially is that if that freezes, in case that freezes, it could jeopardize service to the other houses, which I don't think it's going to. I don't see how that happens. And the issue I have with that is a tenant issue. There's people in our community that own pieces of property, and if somebody's not paying their rent, for instance, or their water bill, and the water bill doesn't get shut off, we can't get the tenant out of the property. So that means they'll rack up a water bill that ultimately the property owner is on the hook for, when in fact it should be shut off by the city. So.
Tom, anything?
No, I guess the only comment is make sure that both the tenant, which the water is in, and we make sure that the owner of the property, both are notified in case of non-payment. I don't know how that would have to be
That's
handled.
easier said than done.
Well, I know, and that's what I'm saying, I don't know how that would have to
We
be
have
handled.
a number of landlords from outside the city, just had one today, who had his tenant left, he didn't know it, he's from Grand Rapids, and the water bill kept going up and up and up. He wants to have us do away with it. I said, it's not our job to monitor and take a look at your property. It's your job. You're the property manager and the owner, so.
I guess what I'm saying is I'd just like us to look into a way that when this happens, I'm not saying we have to do it today or tomorrow or whatever, but we need to look at some way to notify the actual property owner that once the bill goes in arrears, so they know, and they can either contact us and say, you know.
That we can do it.
Well,
Why can't we just have it shut off?
Well, you done, Tom?
Yeah,
Okay.
at this point, you know.
Mike?
well, I'm just thinking that when somebody comes in to get the water hooked up, you know, there should be a line item on there that says, is this a rental property, or do you own this property? And then if it's a rental property, ask for the owner's name and number.
Well, there is, on the form that they use,
Mhm.
there is a sentence that says you're responsible for whatever happens as far as the
You
utility.
should still be able to have contact information for whoever owns it.
Yeah,
That way there, if they don't pay it, we can call them and say, hey, this is the problem. Do you want us to shut the water off because it could cause a lot of damage, you know?
yeah.
Because I don't see how it would affect the main by shutting off the water to a house. You know, if the water's flowing, you shut the valve down, once the valve's shut off, it shouldn't affect it, and you just don't open until the spring thaws here, you know?
If it's on a dead end, it will, but that'd be the only way. It'd only really affect them on that dead end.
Okay, if that's the case, then we either shut the valve down until it's almost off, so they get very little water, but it's enough to keep it flowing, or,
You know, if
maybe in a
nobody's
case
using
like
it,
that,
if nobody's using the house anyway,
Yeah.
there's still not gonna be any flow there, so.
I just don't know why we just don't shut it off. But all that.
well, because I don't know all the circumstances on it, so.
The issue, what they're trying to do right now is get it all into the landowner's name, the property owner's name. Then
Mhm.
that way the bills will go to them and the notices will go to them. That way,
Yeah,
because they're ultimately responsible. And that's what the city hall is effectively trying to work on and have been working on. So, you know, I guess that's.
that's what I was talking
Okay.
about, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, Jerry?
I have no comments.
I have nothing. Dennis, you have something else, or?
Well, I guess I'm very concerned, I mean, I don't know why I would invest in properties here with that policy, you know, because
It's been in place. All this is just information for us.
I understand. This part of the policy is what I'm saying. I wouldn't, because it shouldn't affect other properties to shut my property water off. And for instance, you know, my folks own 8 or 9 different rental properties, and they could have a heck of a bill.
No, they were talking about a dead end, you mean with the run stops?
Yeah, like if they're like a long run going to the house, for instance, you know,
Mhm.
that will definitely affect them. But if there happens to be where it's not looped, and it's strictly a service going out, supplying 1 or 2 houses, that would be the only way. With no flowing going through that main to the end resident, let's say, that will freeze up, and that could back up. But if it has a flow-through section from street to street, where they have to have the bell boxes, and they have 4, that way they can control it, that means that there'll always be flow going through there.
So in other words, the one up here on Bridge Street should have been shut off because that goes through.
Correct,
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
all right.
call the roll, please.
Commissioner Cooper,
No.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes,
Commissioner Shai,
Yes.
Commissioner Lau,
Yes,
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item H, under new business, moved from consent agenda, passed 4-1. Public comment, anybody wishing to comment on any agenda items, please step to the podium, name and address for the record, and
Jeff Hunter, 6002 Sam Road. I see you did a report on my concerns about the city keep putting fluoride in the water. Is anybody gonna inform us on what that report is? You can tell the public, or is this gonna be more stuff the city keeps secret to itself again?
Jeff, there's my copy.
How much of this gets out to the public? Are other people gonna get a chance to, see what your findings are, or?
On your website? Anybody know?
I don't know if it is or not.
I don't know.
Is it on the website, Bruce? Any of the findings?
It doesn't look like it. It looks like that Corinne put the certificate over there. I don't think she put the report.
So at the next council meeting, we'll be expecting, somebody to present this full report to the public.
No, it was approved tonight, Jeff.
Well, just because it's approved tonight, does that mean you can't?
That's, when there's no interaction here, this is Jeff Dip, have his opinion, this gave his opinion, so. This
Well,
isn't
of
the
course
time.
not. You don't want to let anybody know anything.
Any other citizen comments? Give your report, Dave.
So far this month, we've had 2 commission meetings. On October 13th was our budget hearing, our yearly budget hearing. The thing that I was, and I've expressed this to some of the council members, is the size of the budget for the county. Being a former school board member, I know the revenues that it takes to run our school district. I assumed that the county would need more money than that. I was wrong. Our budget this year is just over $9 million, and then if you add in the grant monies and federal monies, we come up with 12.3 million. In that budget, all the employees got a 1% raise in January, 1% raise in July. The board got no increase, but as you guys know, we do it because we love it and not for the money, so. We had to use about $96,000 out of our fund equity. The reason for that, we extended the 4-H director position from a half-time to a full-time. Years ago, it used to be full-time, it's been cut back. It affects a lot of kids in the county, and they're hoping to get that built back up. Also, we had to pay for a half-time police officer that was added because Otisco Township purchased the rights to another half. So Otisco Township's gonna have a dedicated officer half-time, and it's gonna rotate for the county. The total fund equity for the county right now is at 18%, so pretty healthy. Other things that night, we had a Michigan Drug Court grant program agreement. What that is it's money given to the county to do drug testing and making sure people are staying off the drugs. We got $120,000 this year. That's up from $112,000 last year. To keep this in perspective, they use all this money, and each test is $20. $120,000 divided by $20, that tells you they run a lot of tests. Another thing that we did, we actually bought from the city of Ionia, the county bought the lot that they're gonna build a new maintenance building on. Cost $1, and it was, originally we thought it was in the floodplain, and it's not gonna be. So that's gonna start in the spring. That's being built by Dave Scheid, a local construction company here in Belding. He's gonna build that. That's phase 1 of the new facilities for the county. They're gonna build that new maintenance building. They'll move the maintenance, all the equipment and everything out of the old jail that's next to the courthouse, and then they'll take that building down. There's enough steel and scrap metal in that building to pay for it, taking that building down. Then the idea is to build a new building there, connect it to the courthouse. It's gonna have the friendly court in there. They're gonna move some of the courts around. This way they can have a one-stop security. Right now, the friendly court has no security at all, and obviously issues over there can be people can get a little excited over there. The other thing that we did in that meeting, we filled several vacancies in some of the committees, the Board of Canvassers, Commission on Aging, Community Mental Health, and Construction Board of Appeals. That was that meeting. Today's meeting is our Committee of the Whole. This meeting is just department heads come and give their quarterly reports to us. Today we had Public Health, Building Codes, the Sheriff, the Drain Commissioner, John Bush, who's been there a big portion of my life, is retiring at the end of this month. So I think we'll all miss him. And prosecutor, attorney was there, and district court was there. I think that's everything.
That's only because John's really old and you're not that old.
What's that?
That's only because John's really old and you're not that old. He's been there.
Well, he's been there since the '80s when I graduated from high school, so that tells you.
Oh yeah, we can remember when he was out doing his own thing.
He is still going to be, still going to do the map portion, and they're going to, the prosecuting attorney, I believe the clerk, and there's one other person who's going to put somebody in that position until the next election to fill that position. So.
Thank you, Dave, for your report. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Bruce, anything to add tonight, or?
I do not.
Council, Mike?
Did you read this joke?
Jerry?
I just want to thank the rec board. I was at the last meeting. We had a nice discussion, but it's nice working together for us. I also want to thank Dale and the police department. We had solicitors throughout the city with direct energy. I'm not sure if anybody came to your house, but they came to our house, and one of our neighbors too contacted me. And many solicitors come to the door. They have to check with the city first, and they have to have a solicitor's badge with the city logo on it. If they don't, you don't have to talk to them. Have them go back and go to the city and check with the city before they come around knocking your door. When I kind of looked up Google direct energy, a lot of red flags came up. So just be cautious when you deal with solicitors that don't have it checked in with the city.
The reporter's not here to put that in paper.
Dennis?
Oh, I'm disappointed in that part of the water policy, that we couldn't get that over the $75, what I forgot to add, $75 shut-off fee. I don't know why we need that when, I guess we're paying our DPW to do it anyway, but I tried, so that's all I got. Thank you all for coming tonight.
No?
I'd like to thank Bruce for his work in getting the Vietnam Memorial paperwork and everything finally done. Make sure we're staying within the letter of the law, so we aren't trying to make exemptions for anybody. And I took a lot of extra work that he had to do, so I really appreciate that. And just again, a general thank you for all our staff, DPW, police, fire, for the job they do, and our secretaries that take their notes, even when they don't really feel well. That's it.
Thank you.
Brad, real quick. I did lose a bet, so I don't Bruce. I do honor my bets. I won't wear it, but congratulations.
Never bet against me.
Why wouldn't you wear that? Huh? Nice.
I have no report for tonight. I just want to thank everybody for coming and for braving this nice weather. I guess that's where everybody else is at, so.
I do have one thing that I forgot about.
Julie.
The N-body gentleman that works for the water, for the DPW, I can't think of his first name right now. Anyway, I had a citizen call and thank me, wanted me to pass this on, that he is such a nice gentleman. He come in, took care of stuff, was polite, says, if you need anything, I'll be on duty all day Friday, you can call me back in, and stuff, and so we do occasionally get good reports on some of our employees.
Thank you. Motion and support to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Shai?
Yes.
Councilmember Lyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.